Let's now talk about how do we then operate in this new world. So I created this framework called the context marketing framework, and there's 5 elements to context. And let me kind of walk you through these. So what you see is, first off, this little star-shaped thing on the left. Each one of those dots is to denote that is it a continuum. Available is a continuum. At the very bottom is forced, and as you move out, then you get into direct, and as you move past that, you get to organic. The greater the context, the farther out on this spectrum you become. Then there's permission. You must have permission in this modern world to reach context, not only because it gives you access to direct methods, but it also gives you the data that you need to create personal and omnichannel experiences, right? We must have permission because it gives us so many things that we have to have. The next is this notion of personal. Now, most of us would believe that one-to-one is the apex of personal. I would push back on that and say it's not. In fact, if we go back to that thing that I started talking about, which is we have to realize that marketing ideas are games given to be played in specific environments, I would ask you another question. Let's play this other fun game. Type into the chat. What year is one-to-one popularized? There's a book. It's published. It's a very big, famous book. It comes out. What year does this notion of one-to-one come out? When is it created? What year? Got some answers, got some guesses. Answer is 1993. 1993. So here's the notion of one-to-one. The notion of one-to-one says one brand message to one person in one time is the apex of personal. Again, through the lens of a marketer, mass personalization. But let me ask you another question. What's more powerful, an email or word of mouth? Word of mouth is always more powerful. We know word of mouth is the most powerful form of marketing always. And in the digital world, human to human is the digital word of mouth. One human talking to another human on the brand's behalf. Influencer marketing, social media, that is more powerful. So personal, the apex of personal is human to human. Keep that in the back of your mind. We'll talk about it later. Next is authentic, voice, empathy, and congruence to channel. And then the last is purpose, which is there's purpose that you can do on markets and there's purposes that you can do with markets.